ज्ञानशक्ति समारूढ़ तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नवांसि मित्राणि, ngमुडागम संधि. Ngमुडागम संधि is an agama sandhi. If you remember the four functions of a sandhi, how it operates, what are they? Tell me. Agama, Adesha, Lopa and Prakriti Bhava, right? Yes. The previous sandhis till here, which were the Sattva, Chatva, Stutva, Purva Rupa, Purva Savarna, Parasavarna, Anunasika, all of those were Adesha Sandhyaha. Adesha means substitutions. They were substituting the Purva and the Para or the Para. Here the Agama is, it neither changes the Purva nor the Para, but just that another letter will come between the Purva and the Para. That is called an Agama, coming. Agama. It comes in between the Purva and the Para. The two sandhis which are the Agama sandhis are the Tugagama and the Ngamudagama sandhi. And also the Sattva sandhi to some extent can be called a Agama sandhi because let me just refresh your memory. In the Sattva sandhi, you would see that the extra sa was coming, and some people would argue that this sa has come because of the na, and others will argue that no, the na has been transformed into the anuswara and sa has come as an agama. Now that is not a pure agama, right? Because na is also being affected. It is being converted to the anuswara or the chandra bindu, whatever be the case. Even here you are getting the extra sa which is coming here, which is not the sakara of this kru dhatu, right? Just recollect that. So the Sattva sandhi to some extent can be called an Agama sandhi, but the Ngamudagama and the Tugagama are purely the Agama sandhis. Okay. Their function is as described. They just insert another letter. They don't delete nor do they modify anything. They just insert another letter between the Purva and the Para. Here, however, this Ngamudagama sandhi and the Tugagama sandhi are not pure Vyanjana sandhis. Here's the catch. They're not pure Vyanjana sandhis because the Para in this case is a Swara. In the pure Vyanjana sandhi cases, we would see that the Purva as well as the Para were both Vyanjanas. But in this case and also in the coming Tugagama case, you see that either the Purva or the Para is a Swara. Okay, this Hraswa Dirgha are variants of a Swara. Is it not? They are swaras. So these are outliers. However, let's just see them, but because they also create some confusion. They not just insert the na etc. in between the Purva and the Para, but they also insert confusion in our minds. So let's just go through them. Detailed analysis will lead us to the right answer each time. Ngamudagamaha. So this Upadha, now you remember what an Upadha is? Yes, from the Visarga Sandhi, you could remember that an Upadha is the penultimate Akshara, which is the immediate Akshara preceding the Purva is called the Upadha. Okay. In the Ngamudagama Sandhi case, first of all, the Purva is Ngamut. Ngamut, again, if you remember the Hal Sandhi, the introduction to Hal Sandhi, Ngamut is a set involving Nga, Na and Na. These are the constituent elements of the set Ngamut. That is why it is called the Ngamudagama. Ngamut. Ngamut means Nga, Na, Na from the Pratyahara Ngam. So these letters, any one of them is the Purva, and the Upadha, the immediate Swara, first of all there should be a Swara before the Purva. It can't be a conjunct letter. It can't be a And also the swara should be the hrasva variant, the short syllable swara, the short vowel. A, I, U, R, L. L too is not possible. So it should be either A, I, U or R. So that these are the upadhas. And the purva is either nga, na or na. Then the para should be any, can be any swara. Be careful again here. Watch this. It should be any swara. It should not be any vyanjana, but it should be any swara. The para is a swara compulsorily. Then the parinama. Then the result is that you add. This plus symbol represents the add and not crucifixion. It represents you're adding what? Nga, na or na. You're adding nga, na or the na. Whatever be the case as in purva. So let's just see that in an example. Kurvan yung eva. Now in this kurvan and eva, you see that the purva is nakara. Okay. So does it fall under ngamut? Is it a comprising element of ngamut? Yes, it is. Good. Second one is, what is the para? Is it a swara? Yes, it is a swara. Next you see the upadha. What is the upadha before the na? Is it va, ra or a or ku? What is the upadha here? See, if you have practiced well the trota, that is splitting a word into its constituent letters, you would see that kurvan, an, a is the upadha. Before the na, excuse me, you have the a. A is the upadha. Then, is it a hrasva swara? First of all, the upadha is a swara, okay. Third, you have put a tick across the third condition, okay. Then the fourth condition is it a hrasva swara? Is it the short syllable a? Is it a hrasva swara? Yes, it is. Good. So it has satisfied all the conditions. Then what happens? The ngamudagama operates and brings in whatever be the purva. It repeats it. It reduplicates it. So if the purva was na, it will reduplicate. It will bring another na. It becomes kurvanneva, kurvanneva. You see, there's an extra emphasis because of the extra na. Kurvanneva. You can combine the na with a by simple mela and it becomes neva. Kurvanneva. Okay. I have shown it separately for better understanding this, that extra na has come in between. Then pratyang iti, pratyang iti. Okay, so again you have nga as the purva, that is the first condition. Okay, satisfied. Next you see the upadha. What is the upadha? Pratyang ang, a is the upadha. Is it a hrasva swara? Yes, it is. Second condition. Okay, tick. Then the third condition, the para. Is it a swara? I. Is it a swara? Yes, it is. So third condition also tick. Then you do the ngamudagama. What is it? It is simple. Just remove the plus and you put whatever the purva is, you duplicate it. It becomes nga again. So you get pratyang nga iti, pratyang iti, pratyang iti, pratyang iti. Okay. Then sugan urja. You see here the para can be any swara. It need not be a hrasva swara or a dirgha swara or anything. It can be just any swara. Okay. The only condition on the upadha is that it should be a hrasva swara. There is no such condition limitation of the on the para. Please remember that. Next, sugan urja. You have na. Okay, it is a purva. It falls under ngamut. Okay, good. Second is the upadha hrasva? Sugan an. Yes, it is. Third is the para aswara. U is a swara. Okay. So what happens? You just reduplicate the purva. Na again comes again. It becomes sugan nurja. Sugan nurja. Sugan nurja. Na u nu. Sugan nurja. Bharin oshatu. And you might think that the hrasva swara should always be a. Seeing these three examples. No, it is just a coincidence. It can be any of the 5 hrasva swaras. A, I, U, R, L. Okay, so bharin e. Upadha is e. Purvam is na. Okay, it falls under ngamut. Ngamut means just these three. Nga, na, and na. Para is o. Is it a swara? Yes, it is. Take it. So you do the ngamudagama. Na repeats. So bharin na oshatu. Excuse me. Bharin na oshatu. Bharin noshatu. Bharin noshatu. Examples: pratyang nira, pratyang ira. Okay, so what happens? Pratyang, ang, a is the upadha, nga is the ngamut, e is a swara. Good. Repeat it. After repeating, you will get the nga, and I have joined that nga with e. That's it. So don't get intimidated here. See, this is nga. That's it. It is not e. It is nga with e. Pratyangira, pratyangira. Okay. Yan adeshah. Yan adeshah. Na. You have a upadha, na, which is ngamut. Is it? Yes, it is. It falls under gamut. A is a swara. Okay. So put another na and you combine it with the para. It becomes yannadeshah. Yannadeshah. The a is untouched. Okay. Just that the extra na has combined with the already residing a there. Already present a. Similarly with nga also. Brijjan alikham. Again, na repeated, it becomes brijjan alikham. Brijjan alikham. You might think, oh, here you have a samyukta akshara, so the purva is not a swara. Be careful. See, when you're pronouncing the brijjan, you're saying an, right? There is a already present here. I agree that here is a samyukta akshara, but what is the upadha specifically? The upadha itself should not be a samyukta akshara vyanjana. Okay. The samyukta akshara occurs before the upadha. Therefore, that is not our concern. Brijjan alikham. So na comes again. Brijjan alikham. Sugan ayi. Sugan ayi. Tell me, a is a swara, para. Okay, take the para. You have na in the purva. Okay, take it. So should you do the ngamudagama? No. Beware. You have the upadha condition also. The upadha condition is that it should be a hrasva swara. Is the upadha hrasva swara here? No, it is not a hrasva swara. It is a dirgha swara. So you can't do it. You just keep it as it is. Sugan ayi. That's it. Udang itaha. Similarly, you have a hrasva swara upadha. You have nga ngamut e swara. Add an extra nga and combine it with the para. Udang nitaha. Udang nitaha. Yasmin eva. You have e as the upadha. Is it a hrasva swara? Yes. Na ngamut. Yes. A is a swara. Yes. Do the ngamudagama. Add an extra na. Yasmin neva. Yasmin neva. Okay. Jwalat. Now how do you split this? Jwalan narin. You would think of splitting it as Jwalan arim. Right. You would split it as Jwalan arim because you would think, although wrongly, that it is a ngamudagama sandhi because you have two na. Because in all these places you saw two na, two nga, etc. So you would be compelled to think it is a ngamudagama because I have put it under the title of ngamudagama. You would believe me. That's the power of suggestion. It is not so. When you're sticking to the rules, you stick to the rules to the letter. So if you did split it as Jwalan and Arim with the A here, it would be perfectly a ngamudagama sandhi, no doubt about it. But would the word Arim have any meaning? Arim. No, it wouldn't. So that way of splitting sandhis is erroneous because this is an external sandhi. External sandhi always demands that you know what the meaning of the two conjoining words are, what the meaning is. So that's the problem with always splitting the sandhis. you can easily combine two words and make a sandhi. But when you are reverse engineering, in the retro reaction series, you will know that there's some difficulty in splitting the words in a particular way. You should always cross verify with the meaning of each words and their independence. Therefore, if you did split it as Jwalan and Arim, it would still be a Ngamudagama Sandhi, no doubt, but the meaning of Arim is non-existent, so that would be a wrong splitting of the word. But if you did split it as Jwalat and Narim, it would be an Anunasika Sandhi, but both of these would have a perfect meaning. Nari Jwalat, the burning lady. Jwalan, Jwalat, Narim. That would be the Anunasika Sandhi. Is that the Gamudagama Sandhi? No. And one more thing, this is not the Damudagama. It is not the da. See, you see this dot here? It represents the nga. Ngamudagama. Kakha, gaga, nga. This is the Ngamudagama. Ngamudagama. It is written quite similarly. See, you see this dot. If you miss the dot, you would pronounce it as Damudagama. Ngamudagama. Okay. Then Gaghan Upavishtaha. Gaghan Upavishtaha. Double na. Upadha is a. Hraswa. Para is a swara. You have the purva as na. Yes. Similarly here, Dhiman Ayahi. Now you see there is no restriction on the para swara. It can be a dirgha, it can be a hraswa. Dhiman Ayahi. Dhiman Ayahi. The only restriction is on the upadha's nature of being a hraswa or a dirgha swara. Then prang okas. Prang okas. Again you have nga. Okay, you would think it is Ngamudagama. Then you would see the paraswara. Okay, second condition is met. Third condition is you see the upadha. Ah, you are caught. The upadha here is ah. It is the dirgha swara, so you can't do the Ngamudagama, so you keep it as it is. Prang okas. An eshaha. An eshaha. Is it possible? A upadha, yes. Hraswa, yes. Para is a swara, yes. Na is the purva. Is it ngamut? Yes. All the conditions you got a yes. So you can do. You can pass the notion. You can pass the bill of Ngamudagama. You would get anneshaha. Anneshaha. Na has come here and joined with the eshaha. Okay. Is that clear? Next class will be Tugagama. Dhanyavadaha.